And just like that, the final four is set. And let me make sure I have my levels all good. All right, we're live after the Truck Series race at, according to Jamie Little, the Miami Homestead Speedway. But before we get into the race itself, before we get into the running order, all that championship stuff to look at, Heim, Hocevar, Enfinger, Rhodes. That is your final four for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in 2023. Looking like it's going to be a really fun championship battle. Jack C Sports, thank you for the $1.99. Carson and Zane at Spire next year with some popcorn. It's going to be really fun to watch that. And I think I should give y'all a poll. So who do you think is the championship favorite? I think that's a good poll to start off with. And I'll give you all four options. You got Heim Time. You got Hocevar. If I can type his name in. You have Enfinger. And you have Rhodes. So that's what we're looking at going into the championship four in 2 weeks at Phoenix. Let's start that poll right now. Click that like button, and if you're new, subscribe. We do this for all the races. We'll do it for the Xfinity race, which will be coming up in about an hour, give or take. But let's look into this race. The 2023 Baptist Health Cancer Care 200 was 134 laps, an hour, 54 minutes, and 47 seconds. There were 8 lead changes among 7 leaders and 5 cautions. Carson Hocevar gets the win, climbs up into the flag stand, throws the flag almost to the crowd, but he gets the win and gets his way in on that by 2.7 seconds over Zane Smith. Smith was not able to win and get in the championship four because Ben Rhodes up in third played a master strategy. Great call by that team. Corey Heim comes home fourth, and Grant Enfinger top 5. After that, you've got Bailey Curry with a nice 6th place finish. Stuart Friesen 7th, looking like the Stuart Friesen of old a little bit, was running up front in the top 5 for a lot of the day. Matt Crafton up in 8th. 9th is Raja Karuth, and 10th is Ty Majeski. Chase Purdy comes home 11th. 12th is Tanner Gray. 13th is Jack Wood. Taylor Gray in 14th, and Trevor Bayne rounds out the lead lap finishers with a top 15 finish. By the way, looking at Bailey Curry in 6th. We do it every time. He drove the ghost car. Why don't we all spam the ghost emoji in the chat for Bailey Curry? Great run for him. And again, if you're new, subscribe and lick that like button. Let's get as many likes as we can on this stream. Before the Xfinity's race starts, we'll let the poll run for a little bit longer as we go through the rest of the field. 16th is Jake Garcia, 17th Dean Thompson, 18th Nick Sanchez out as well. Then you've got Marco Andretti in 19th, 20th Lawless Allen, 21st Christian Eckes, who is out as well. Daniel Dye in 22nd, 23rd Tyler Hill, 24th Nick Lights, Brad Perez with the 25th place run, and Tyler Ankrum 26th. Those guys from 16th to 26th, all 1 lap down in this race through the end on that long run. We got the ghost emojis going, nice. And let's continue on. Jonathan Schaefer in 27th, 2 laps down. Maggio 28th. And then Deegan, 29th. We'll talk about Haley Deegan in a moment about this race, the mistake, all that. Villarreal in 30th. Those 3 were all 3 laps down in this race. 5 laps down in 31st for Colby Howard. Armani Williams, last car on track, 13 laps down in 32nd. Spencer Davis and Spencer Boyd. Not a good day to be a Spencer. Both those guys finish out of the race. Thank you to Sly Supersonic for the 5. Shout out to Rich Lucius, Ben Rhodes crew chief. That was an Absolutely fantastic race strategy. Ben beats Nick Sanchez to the final four by 1 point. It was, and we will talk about that in a moment. First, though, I do want to talk about something because I don't know necessarily if this is all done yet when it comes to the shuffling and all that stuff. It probably is, but I mean, just looking at points and all, it's going to be really interesting to look at in a moment. But really quick, let's put the race results up top here. If I got any wrong, let me know. But I did want to show y'all something. Some of you guys had pointed this out in the chat, and I wanted to post it up here. We'll have the results running as well. But people noticed Zane Smith's windshield was bowed in a little bit, kind of the way that Kevin Harvick's old rear windshield. And so what I'm looking at, and again, it won't change the seating or anything because he didn't make it, but Zane Smith, look at this right here. Now, Carson Hocevar, if you look in the back, has a normal windshield, or at least windshield top. But look at the name rail for Zane Smith, and you can really see it there. I don't know if there's an advantage to get from that, but a lot of people noticed it. I can't remember who I saw talking about it first on Twitter. There were a lot of people. But that's a little odd. And had he won this race, I'm not too sure he wouldn't have been disqualified for this. It's a very interesting picture to look at. I mean, you can clearly see the difference between them. There's not, I wish there was a better picture of it, but it was clear during the race because we have the thumbnail of Zane Smith, and Zane's windshield is not bowed in like that. So I'm really interested to see what it's looking like. The only thing it really would affect would be the NWP pick points. Because if I'm not mistaken, both Eric and Darian picked Zane Smith. So for y'all that watch the NASCAR Weekly Podcast, that might be something to look at. I would not be surprised if we see a DQ for that. But let's get into the race itself as we wait for the Xfinity race to start. And I'm going to end this poll right here. Again, click that like button. Let's get at least 50 likes going by the end of this stream. I'm sorry. I'm a little out of it because I am so ready to watch Junior race again. I am fanboying completely. I got my 88 shirt on. I got my old Junior hat on, one of many. So let's see. But the poll here, the favorite for the championship at the moment by you is Hocevar at 57%, Heim at 30%, and then Enfinger and Rhodes tied at 6. Getting into the race, the first stage, I'm going to be honest, kind of dull snoozer. Not anything really to write home about. There were 34 trucks. It was the fewest since April at Texas. And Nick Sanchez is on the pole. He went out to the lead for a moment, but then it was Heim time, as Heim would pass Sanchez for the lead only 6 laps later. You had Hocevar with a bit of a overheating problem. He had some debris on the grill. But other than that, nothing really too out of the ordinary with this race. Pretty, at least early in stage 1, just pretty normal, and again, kind of dull, but not overly. Heim would win the stage over Majeski, Hocevar, Zane Smith, and Enfinger in 5th. Then Friesen, Eckes, Sanchez, Crafton, and Purdy finished out the top 10 in stage 1. Going to stage 2, you have a restart with Heim and Majeski again. Heim beating him. Zane Smith now to 2nd. So Zane might be somebody who's going to be really, really in the deciding factors of this race. But this would all really kind of change a little bit on lap 54. Spencer Boyd was stopped on track, got out of the car. There was a caution. Under the caution on pit road, Heim, Zane, and Eckes would lead everyone off. And then also Tanner Gray, Ankrum, and Wood would stay out and be the top 3 staying out. During that as well, I believe, I always mess up his name, Villarreal, I believe, hit his crew guys, looking like a little, one of them was injured. We're hoping the best. It wasn't too bad because he was at least moving around, seemed to be talking. He was alert, all of that. But scary incident. Pit road is scary, and people definitely. I hope that we don't need the wake up call, but if anyone did, there's a wake up call to just how. I mean, no other way for me really to say it. Just how kind of brave and ballsy those guys jumping over the wall in front of trucks and cars are. But we'd have the restart. They'd be 4 wide into 1. Heim would lead, win the stage over Zane, Curry, Sanchez, and Friesen, the top 5. Then Majeski, Crafton, Purdy, Hocevar, and Rhodes, the top 10. Eckes would have been 6th, but had a restart violation, lost all the points, and got sent to the back. That was pretty much all she wrote for Eckes Day. But at that point, we're racing to the finish for the final 67 laps in the final stage. Really quick, Twin Spinner, thank you for the 5. Hot take, maybe Zane realized that could be a DQ and let Carson by to avoid the inevitable controversy after the race. I don't think so. I just think Carson had a better truck at the end. Which I will say, I'm happy. I got at least one pick right this weekend. I got the truck pick right. I believe Darian didn't. It was Danny who also got it. I picked the truck race. I'm happy about that. Getting into the final stage here. 67 to go. We have a restart. And Zane would fight ahead to the lead this time. Now, there was quickly a caution for Colby Howard and Haley Deegan. We will talk about Haley in a moment, but basically they crashed. Haley Deegan squeezed up. Now, I did not see necessarily who it was, but I saw others saying that it was Dean Thompson, which if that's the case, of course it is. Fox didn't really go in depth with it. They didn't have a good angle. Another thing really quick, FS1, I'm glad they did it in the final stage, but seriously, we got to be putting those points up the entire race. I know it gets annoying on NBC, but I think that that's something that should be asked in a penultimate race, as Jamie Little put it. But Haley Deegan squeezes up, crashing out, or crashing into Colby Howard. Maybe it's just that the seasons went on and I'm just getting more annoyed by it. But I mean, I was the same way in June. If you remember after the Nashville race, if you were watching that, I don't know at this point, man. I don't know what to say. Haley Deegan's moving up to Xfinity. She won't be in trucks. Maybe she will be better in Xfinity, but at this point, it gets, it just, I'm not shocked anymore. I'm not surprised when Haley Deegan messes up. There's still no improvement. There's no improvement from week to week, year to year, any of that. I'll ask you guys this. I'll put a poll on this one before we get into the final stage. Do you think that Haley Deegan is ready for the Xfinity Series? Yeah, do you think Haley Deegan's ready for the Xfinity Series at this point? Yes, no, or maybe. I'll give you 3 options on that one. To me, I don't think so. I don't think so at this point because, yes, the trucks do not translate to Xfinity or Cup. But, of course, none of them translate to each other because all of them are so different now. But, again, maybe it'll suit her driving style better. That's the hope a lot of Deegan fans have. But when you see no improvement, that's not just a truck thing. That's just, in general, a driver thing, in my opinion. And I'm just kind of done with the experiment, you know? I mean, when Haley Deegan was coming up through the ranks in 2018, 19, 20, it was really exciting to see because she was clearly running well. She was clearly winning those lower series races, like in back at that time, I believe it was K&N, now ARCA West. But she's kind of just plateaued at this point, and I don't see how anyone can really say that she is fast enough week in and week out to make it, that she is clearly just showing the improvement. We've seen people like Hocevar, Raja, Zane Smith, a lot of these guys in the Truck Series. I mean, you want to just keep going down the list on it. We've seen Eckes, Sanchez, all of these drivers doing better and better. And I think they deserve their, promotions if they're the ones getting it. And she is not. I mean, I get, I'm seeing the chat. She has SRX experience and dirt racing. And I'm not saying she's a bad driver. I'm not saying that she doesn't deserve to be in a professional rank of driving. I'm just saying at this point, does she deserve to be in the Xfinity Series? Does she deserve to be in the Truck Series at this point? Because, at 13, you're looking and she has teammates competing for a championship. She has teammates running top 10. And that's where I'm kind of drawing the line at this point. Like, the equipment isn't the problem. It's a lot of the times has not been the problem. And it sucks because I like Hailie Deegan. I think she has a great personality. I think she is good for the sport in many ways. But if you can't perform on track, I mean, Danica showed it. We've seen plenty of different drivers show it. If it's through all racing history. If you cannot perform on track, you shouldn't be there. Scott McNew in the chat, thank you for the 5, says, my opinion on Deegan is I love her personality, but at some point you have to start putting up results, and she hasn't done that. I agree. I want the results there. And I don't really see SRX translating all that much. You're basically running with a bunch of old guys and then a couple that race today. And a lot of those that come in and race come in and win. So I can't see it translating. Dirt racing, though. I think she should, if NASCAR doesn't work out, I think she should try going more into the dirt side of things because she is a good driver. She's a very talented driver. I don't want people misconstruing this that I'm just hating on Hailie Deegan. I want her to succeed. But maybe NASCAR isn't that. Especially, the trucks especially were showing. If she performs in Xfinity, great. I hope she does. I really do. I hope she does. I can't see it right now. There's that's probably the last Deegan rant of the year. Probably talk about it on Black Flags Matters channel this Wednesday on the NWP. But as for these post-race streams, I'm not going to probably talk anymore about Deegan. Remember, we only have, including today's Xfinity race and next week's Xfinity race, truck finale, and the last 3 Cup races. I believe we only have, 6 races left this year? Or am I 7? 7. We have 2 left this weekend, 2 next weekend, 3 for the family. 7 races across the top 3 series left. So we'll get more into crunch time on it and talk about that. But let's get to the final stage here. 67 to go. We have a restart. Zane Smith would fight ahead to the lead on this point. Of course, we have the Colby Howard, Hailie Deegan crash. Just kind of want to review that for those who might just have come in. 61 to go. Another restart. This time it's Zane and Heim. Zane flies up. Bailey Curry got up to second. We had the ghost emojis early, but great job today for Bailey Curry. A 6th place run, running up with the big dogs. I love to see it. And with 56 to go, Maggio goes around. And this is where Ben Rhodes pits. Ben Rhodes pits, and with 50 to go, he has that final run. He just has to ride it out. Just ride it out, get the points, try and stay as far ahead as possible. And he ended up doing it. Great call, great call. And with 50 to go, we have the restart. Zane versus Heim again. Zane leads, 4 wide in the pack. Great stuff. Great stuff. Hocevar and Heim would really be dogging him back and forth, racing for second, but they were right behind him for the lead, too. It was a 3-horse race at that point. And Ben Rhodes at this point, too, is flying through the field. And then we have the catalyst for the last bits of the season here. Or the last bits of the round of 8 going into the season finale. Heim would pit. I think he was having a loose wheel or a flat. And begin the final round of green flag pit stops. Sanchez would hit Tanner Gray. That damage ultimately costing him a chance. And Eckes was too fast exiting. Any chance he would have had left is gone at this point, even after what happened. And Majeski would have a slow stop too. Rhodes would lead while the 38 and the 42 were battling, but at that point, Hocevar just had the better car, gets past Zane Smith. They both get past Rhodes, who holds off the pack. And I will say, 15 to go, slide job move by Hocevar was awesome to pass Zane. But Hocevar gets the win. We end the season there. And that's about it. Jack C Sports, thank you for the 2. Off topic, if Zane gets DQ'd, does Sanchez make it? No, because everyone would get an extra point except Hocevar, who doesn't need the extra. So it would stay the same. But y'all, I'm going to end the poll here when it comes to what y'all think of Deegan. Moving forward, 40% of you say she is not ready. 33 say maybe. 25 say yes. Y'all, thank you so much for coming in today. We are not done. We will have a post race for the Xfinity Series. I am happy because Dale Jr. is racing. I'm going to be geeking. But go to USA Network right now. The Xfinity pre-race show is starting up, and I will see you after that race. I'm going to go get something to eat, and y'all have a good day till then. I'll see you later.